Hi, everyone. Laurie Flasko here. I'm the founder of the Kindness Advantage, and I have the privilege of speaking with kind leaders and individuals around the world. And today, I'm thrilled to be speaking with Barbara Glanz. Welcome, Barbara. So glad to have you. I met you, Barbara, probably about 10 years ago, I'm thinking. I was heading for my very first National Speaking Association convention. And I got this email with this newsletter that Barbara Glanz, someone who I've been following for years because she talks about engagement and morale and everything in the workplace. And I said, hey, can we meet up and go for dinner? And Barbara said, I would love that. So we have been friends ever since, haven't we, Barbara? It's been such a pleasure. But the interesting thing about that is that following that same week, the following day, she was being awarded one of the highest speaking awards that you could get. She is now a Hall of Fame speaker. So that is so neat. Let me read to you what Barbara Glanz stands for. She's a CSP, a CPAE. She works with organizations that want to improve morale, retention, and service, and with people who want to rediscover the joy in their work and in their lives. She has authored 12 books, or probably even more along the way. Her resume is long, and what attracted me to Barbara is she certainly speaks on the customer experience, which her and I love that, but she helped me put together one of my first keynotes on kindness and helped me structure that. She has just a wealth of information, and I'm so pleased, Barbara, to have you with us today.
Thank you, Laurie. Well, you're one of the people I most admire, and just your head, but most importantly, your heart.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the difference that you're making in this world.
I appreciate that. So let's talk about kindness and what it means to you. What have you seen? And speaking of hearts, you have such a huge heart for it. So tell me what it means to you.
You know, I think for me, it is looking at people as human beings and seeing people as just individuals that that need love. You know, I think our only purpose on this world is to use the gifts that we've been given, and then just to love other people. And so to me, kindness is really love in action. And one of my favorite quotes is from Lou Holtz. He says, why is it that the people who need love and understanding the most usually deserve it the least? And that constantly reminds me that every hurting person out there needs my love and understanding the most. And so it's a way to remind yourself to be kind even to those people who don't deserve kindness in terms of the world.
Wow. And such a powerful quote. You know, when I think about so I'm just going to jump right into customer service for a minute, because we've got a lot of things to talk about. Someone, I've been doing some research, and someone recently said, customers are so hard to deal with today. And, you know, as a world, we're going through so much. And I know even me, I can be a little bit more impatient, and like, there's just some stuff that's underlying maybe with all that we're dealing with. But your quote is so appropriate today. So when you're in the service industry and we've got call after another, or person after a person, and they're bringing in that heaviness, or sometimes that grumpiness that goes along with it. What can they do? What do they need to remember?
Well, one of the things that in my work I've discovered, I have an ability gift to be able to take difficult concepts and create simple visual models. And so probably the most profound thing I've ever done, Laurie, that has helped so many people is a very simple little 3-column chart with a minus column, 0 column, and a plus column. Down below, it says your choice in every interaction. And so when someone comes to you, it doesn't even matter if it's in your personal life or your business life. But if you discount them and make them feel less important than you, they're going to leave with a minus. If you just take care of their business at hand, and I call these people slot fillers, they come in. I'm not judging. Some of them have gotten beaten into that, but they come in and they do just enough to get by. The clock strikes, they're out the door. So it's business only. And then on the other side of the chart is the plus, which I call the human level connection. And whenever we see someone and interact with them and say, you are of value, I see you, you're important, it can be simple, using their name, complimenting them, even sharing something about the weather, but it just says, I see you. That person is going to leave a little bit better because they interacted with us. And so for me, and keeping that Lou Holtz quote always in mind, the crankiest, orneriest person I meet today needs my love and understanding the most. So if I can remember that quote and say, wow, there's a hurting person, I choose to be kind to them. And that's my choice to try to create a plus. And it actually becomes kind of, it's a challenge. It becomes kind of fun to say, well, how can I get a smile out of that person? Or how can I do something that will make them light up? And so those are the choices we have in every single interaction, and always trying, going through the checkout line at the grocery store, even, my biggest challenge is the toll booth, but you can do it. And it's really fun to see them go, oh, somebody noticed me.
Yeah. It's like they've been knocked, somebody kind of gave them a hit in there, and all of a sudden, like,
light up.
Yeah, it's lights up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't you find too, when that happens, you can take, that challenging situation and just turn it right around.
Yeah. Yes.
Whereas if you go in with that negative, like you hit a negative with a negative, it's not going to get better.
You're never going to win. You're never going to win arguing with someone. And so I tell people in my sessions, I want you to leave with that little chart tattooed in your brain. And so every time, you consciously try to create a plus. And then, even keep a little 3x5 card in your pocket for a week and put a little check mark every time you interact with somebody. And it's just fun to see. And it makes it very concrete. I think when we talk about customer service, for a lot of people, it can be so nebulous. And that little chart makes it very concrete. Always try to create a plus. And
it's intentional. So you're intentional. And I love the fact that it does become, some of us are competitive with ourselves. So it becomes not a game, but I'm going to make every customer smile or the situation turn around, right? So
it has to be sincere. It can't be, just fluff. But I love too, sometimes when I was doing years ago, a lot of training, I would have, if I were doing especially a government group, people come in like this and say to me, I don't know why I'm here. I'm already good with customers. And I would say, well, tell me, what do you do? And they'd say, well, I don't know. I just do it. And so I would show them the levels of learning, and, it's unconscious incompetence. You don't even know you don't know it. Conscious incompetence, you don't know it. Conscious competence, you know what you're doing. And unconscious competence, and I say that's where you are. But if you stay in the class, we'll get back to conscious competence, and you'll be able to share with other people what you do. You're going to know what you do. Then they're like, oh, okay, all right.
That's so true, right? Okay, so we deal with challenging situations in customer service, and you talked about turning that situation into kindness. What are some, we talk about over and above, and I think that's where, well, actually, I think kindness, you said kindness is love in action. I think customer service is kindness, but tell me about that over and above when we talk about that.
You know, one of the things that I've often asked my audiences is, what can you do to add your personal signature to your work? What's some just little tiny thing? One of the things I did when I first started out, and for a number of years until they wouldn't let me do it anymore, but you can see behind me all the posters with they're hand done by my daughter, and they're bright colors with inspiring quotations. And I used to line all the walls of the ballroom or the training room with these posters. Now, most of the time, they won't let me, and I do large groups of thousands of people. So, but whatever you can come up with that is just your special little touch. And the story of Johnny the Bagger, which has become so famous, little guy heard me, and he heard me say that, and as a result he puts a thought for the day in every person's groceries he bags, and it turned the whole organization upside down. One of the, as I've spoken a lot to Southwest Airlines, one of the baggage handlers told me his personal signature was whenever the tags fall off the bags, which, you know, they do, and a lot of them are expensive and love. He said, I put them in a big bag, and when I've got free time, I send them, I mail them back to people because they have your address right on them. And so that was his personal signature. So if they can get their creative juices going and just think of some little tiny touch that they can do that will be something where the customer is like, wow, that was really cool.
I love that. And by the way, anybody who's listening here, I know that you can get order a DVD set, but a copy of it on simpletruths.com. And it is amazing. It's such a good video to watch. So thank you for.
Well, they can watch it free on my website if they go to Barbara Glanz, GLANZ.com/Johnny. There's the movie, longer movie, the short movie, and then they don't have to pay for it.
That's great. That's great. So that simple, and it is. It's, and you know, we often think we have to do it for every single person that we meet, this over and above. But even if people picked one a day, you know, one a day, what over time, what that would equate to, right?
Yes. And, you know, just to practice seeing somebody, really seeing them as a person and not just a number in line. And comment, you know, you can look at something about a person. I love that color on you, or cool glasses, Laurie, or, you know, how's your day so far? Just something that says, I see you.
I see you. And people want to be seen today. Do you think it is the competitive advantage?
Oh, absolutely. But even more so, it's a hard advantage. You know, when we, in any job that we have, when we feel good about the difference we've made and what we've done for somebody, it gives you purpose and mission. You know, I often tell this story of going into the washroom at O'Hare Airport. And you know this, you've heard it probably dozens of times. But the person there who was cleaning and just all hunched over and going through the motions. And I walked up, touched her on the arm, looked her right in the eyes, said, thank you so much for keeping this restroom clean. You're really making a difference for all of us who travel. And she just perked up and she started cleaning like this. And by the time I got ready to leave, she was handing towels out to all the women who were washing their hands.
Amazing.
And, you know, that story, anybody can do that to anybody. And it leaves both of you feeling great.
Absolutely, which I think is why it's so important for a leader to do that for their team, right? What that does for their team members. Because you saw a customer, you know, making that comment, the customer making that comment to her, and she perked right up. And what that does also for a manager to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And there's a really neat statistic from HR Magazine that 65% of American workers said that all last year they got no appreciation for the good work they had done.
Wow.
And, you know, a lot of us have a work ethic that internally that we do our best for us, not for the manager.
Mhm.
But there are an awfully lot of, especially younger people today, that don't have that work ethic.
Mhm.
And if you've bent over backwards and done the very best job you can, and nobody's noticed for a whole year,
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
lot of people would say to heck with it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
appreciation, and I always have everybody write down, appreciation is a free gift.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
Compensations are right. We deserve that.
yeah.
But appreciation is a gift and it's free.
Yes.
So
Yes.
give
Yes.
it away
Give
as
it
much
away as much as you can.
as
So you talked about, finding purpose in your work. Um, there's many people I think that go to work because they have to, and they're in roles where, and we know if you can find some sort of role that you love to do, but let's face it, there's sometimes where you have to go to work and you have to work hard, and it might not be your dream job, but you have to do it and do it well and with your pride. How does that person find purpose in their work?
Okay, so when I ask the question, when I'm working with a group or speaking, I ask them, what is your answer when I say, what is your work? And almost every time people tell me a job title or a job description. And what I want to say to all of them when I ask that question is, what is your work? How is what you do every day making somebody's life better?
Hmm.
That's your work. And I don't care if you empty the garbage or you empty bedpans or you run the whole company. You can find a way that your work makes somebody's life better. And that's your purpose. That's way more uplifting than the idea of a job.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
ask yourself, how is what I do making, so if I'm putting a car together in an assembly line, I'm making somebody's life better because they're going to have a car that's safer, that works, that
Mhm.
is something that they can be proud of.
Mhm.
And so whatever your job may be, if you're a barista, you're making somebody's life better by giving them that good cup of caffeine that's going to help them through the day.
Yeah.
So that to me is a huge, very simple. So many of the things about customer service are profound in their simplicity.
I like that. Yes. Yes. So true. And it's a matter of just of putting it into practice, of just doing it, right? It's sometimes it's in our mind, the way we think about situations. I really like that because no matter what your role, what your job is, we can all find that, and we want to do something that makes a benefit or has a purpose. So I like
And
that.
every job, I mean, every job has a purpose,
It
has
does.
so I don't even say job anymore. It's
Mm,
your work.
your
And,
work.
and that has, and the other thing I often share with my audience, I think every single employee in the world needs a business card. You
Mm.
can make them on the computer,
Mhm.
but a business card today says what?
Your name, and it does say your job.
Well, and also it says you're important.
You're important for
You're
sure.
important. And I don't care if they only give them to their mothers,
Yeah.
but that says in our society today, to have your business card says you're important, a value,
Mhm.
and that's such an inexpensive, fast way to raise morale and make people feel good.
Yes.
And
Yes.
their title can be manager of moments of truth.
I love that. I love that. Great title. And that's what they are.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And it's actually that is really cool because you might be a janitor, but you are a manager of moments of truth, no matter
Absolutely.
what your role is. I really like that. It's a great idea. So let's talk about leadership for a minute and kindness. Um, tell me what can leaders do, and how does kindness impact the business, the bottom line results?
You know, every piece of research shows that the more people are valued at work and the more they feel good about their work and feel it's a great place to work, the more productive they're going to be, you know, and it doesn't even make sense to me that CEOs and leaders don't get that. You know, it's not about power and money. It's about caring for people and making it a place where they feel valued. And, you know, when you think about leadership and about what are they really trying to do, I think my definition of a leader is a developer of people.
Mhm.
And if your people go on and get all kinds of promotions, you've done a fabulous job.
Mhm.
And so two questions I always ask them, are you in it, you know, really I call these gut level questions. Are you into power or are you into service?
Mhm.
Because you can't be into both. And then,
Well, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
oh, well, I just was going to do the second question. Number 2, are you a barrier builder or are you a barrier breaker?
Mm.
And my feeling about a leader is we should be out there breaking down every barrier that gets in the way of our employees being able to give their best to their jobs. You're just like Superman.
Awesome. And sometimes we forget that part, right? We don't get rid of, we don't find out what the barriers are because we're not listening, we aren't caring. And so
Right.
those barriers never get removed. And
Right.
yet you're the one as a leader, probably the only one that can really remove them for them. So, and that leads me, I guess, to what I was going to jump in and ask you right there was there's so many leaders right now that are so bogged down in what they're in what they're doing, their day to day, and they're in their office and they say, and I've heard this even right now with our employees working remotely, I don't have time to connect with people. I don't have time. I'm so busy with, you know, with this report and that and things that are going on. Yet what you're saying is you need to connect with your people. So how do they do that? How do they manage all of that?
You know, one of the suggestions I always have is, what do you know about your direct reports or your, you know, whoever you work closely with, your team members, or do you know their passion?
Mm.
Do you know what it is that they do in their free time? Do you know about their family? I mean, such little things that and then you remember that and you ask a question or you send them an article that relates to their passion or, um, but you know, I talk about the human business level and all people are well trained pretty much on the business level or they wouldn't still be there. But it's the human level, how people are treated, whether it's customer service or employee interaction, how people are treated is what creates loyalty. And so on the human level, you may know your direct reports or your employees' skills on the business level, but what do you know about them on the human level? That's what's going to make them stay and make them really do their very best work. If someone, you know, and there was a really sad quote from Henry Ford. He said, I hired hands, heads and hands, but I got hearts instead.
Mm. Mm.
You know, so we need to focus on human beings
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
So
not
true.
just, but that am I into power, I'm into, or am I into service? That's a real gut level question because I see many leaders, I don't even call them leaders, they're bosses. There's a big difference between the word boss and leader. Uh,
Yes.
but they're only there for power to, and even look at our politics and so forth. You know, are you there to make money and have power, or are you there to serve and create a product that people need that makes their life better and develop and care for your employees?
Yeah.
You know, and that's a huge difference.
Yes. So true. we have lots, you've given us lots of questions today to think about, but they're powerful because it gives us a choice, which goes right back to what you were talking about, with the minus, the neutral, the plus, is just really look at those choices and which one do you want, and whether that's dealing directly with a customer, whether it's dealing with your employees, with your team members. So Barbara, thank you so much for your time and for sharing this. I really appreciate it. And I know others are going to as well.
Well, and just blessings to everyone out there. And thank you for the difference that you're making in this world. And thank you, Laurie, for bringing more kindness and love and caring to to the people that you work with. And that's what we all need today. We need hope that we can make a difference within our, maybe lots of things going around all around us that we can't control, but we can always control our own interactions and our own little sphere of influence. And that's where we all have to begin. So thank you.
Thank you. So Barbara and I finished our conversation and she started to tell me and about this amazing project that she's on. And I think you're going to want to hear it because I think it's something that I might want to start doing. So tell me about it, Barbara. Tell me, please.
I'm so excited. I heard a speaker talk about, she was doing 100-day project, and hers was on overcoming her fears. So every day she did something she was afraid of. And it just triggered for me. I thought, I'm going to do a 100-day project. And what I decided to do is every day I am calling one or two people that many I haven't talked to for years, high school friends, college friends, people that were really important at one time in my life. And then, as our situations change and people move and your interests change and your kids get different ages and you kind of lose track of people. And I have had the most wonderful blessings. I've found old boyfriends.
Oh.
Three people that I have called were just diagnosed that week with breast cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And, they all said they could not believe the timing of my call, because I say to all of them, I care about you. I'm so sorry that we've lost touch. And some clients that I hadn't talked to for a long time. And it's just been just such a precious gift to me, and I do think to every one of them, as well. Another person was just put into hospice, and I thought, now, and I'm trying to call him every other day to be supportive, but I hadn't talked to him for several years. And I thought, what I kind of do is I just, the night before, I just kind of say a little prayer, Lord, let me know who I should call today. And always either in the middle of the night or when I first wake up, I get a couple names.
Wow.
And so anybody can do that.
And what a kind act. What a kind act.
Well, it's a reward, just as much, if not more, for me than it is for them.
Well, and you know what, you say that for you, it has been, which we've, the joy you can see, but I can just imagine being the recipient on the phone to have your phone call and just what that must mean to that individual at that time. So, wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. What a great idea. Something we can all do.
Yes, and if that doesn't work for you, think of another little project for 100. Maybe just make somebody smile every day for 100 days. And I keep a list because I think we need accountability.
Yes.
So just put the date down and the name of the person you made, or a drawing, or some little thing of the person so that you have a record of it to show I really did do that.
100 days. Well, that's a challenge for all of us now.
Good.
Okay. Thanks, Barbara. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.